YouTube Ozzy the Goat House is back with the last rebuild of the 2021 offseason. We did every single team. Now we're on to the Atlanta Falcons. Bunch of NFL offseason content on the channel. A lot more to come with free agency approaching. A lot of roster moves going to happen, more than any other offseason ever in the NFL. So we're going to have you covered, whether it's here or on our Twitter. Twitter is instant news and talk and breakdowns. So follow that Twitter, link down below. Please subscribe for all this content. And then you see underneath me, walkthemock.com. We use that for our member mock drafts. We have one of those already up where you guys play GM. It's a lot of fun. Definitely the best draft simulator out there. If you're going to sign up, make sure you use code GOATHOUSE. Ends up being cheap here, and you only need it for draft season. So it's very cool. Check it out. Here's our Twitter. Again, there's links in the pinned in the comments for anything you need. Yeah, just talking about everything here. Just breaking news, a lot of numbers, my thoughts on things before you hear them on YouTube. And then here's a little offseason guide, live cap space projections, predicted cuts with the cap space that teams would save, and then potential cuts, trades as well. So a lot going on there. Again, link in the comments. The Falcons. I'm going to cut James Carpenter. I predicted some of the other cuts that they already done, so those were expected. They're around negative $16 million in cap space, depending on what the team's salary cap is. I was hoping it was going to be announced before I got done with all these videos, but it did not. But we're in the range there. James Carpenter, I think we're looking to upgrade from there. You know, they're probably one really solid guard away from being a legit offensive line because they've drafted some young pieces to pair with their other good players over the years. So it's kind of just getting better by default. $4 million you save there. Some good money to save through restructures. Keep in mind, restructures aren't pay cuts, but also keep in mind, pay cuts could happen. They're just almost impossible to predict. Because there's no really set formula or number that would happen. You got to kind of predict guys' characters who would take a pay cut. But restructures, you're clearing this money this year, and you're paying it. It's divided up over the future of those contracts. So Matt Ryan, you can save a whopping $14.62 million. If this doesn't happen, I'm going to be surprised. So it should be. My number's been pretty damn close, or they actually been exact recently. So 14.62. I think that's likely with Matt Ryan. I think that it would have to. Julio Jones, 9.44. Grady Jarrett, 8.09. Jake Matthews, 7.96. Dante Fowler's also an option. We talk about restructures on our Twitter all the time, so you could save some money with Dante Fowler as well. But there's a lot of money to save. Again, that money gets pushed back to the future, but it's very important to save money now because they have pieces throughout their roster. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, etc. It goes on. That makes them kind of a win-now team, but they're not fully there, so you got to clear the space to be fully a win-now team. So that it would make sense. So now we're up to $28 million, looking pretty good. Resigning some players, I only came up with Keanu Neal, and you really don't even have to re-sign him because he does have injury concern. He was a little inconsistent last year. But I don't want to create too many holes at safety. Kazi is another option. He's very solid as well, but constantly getting injured. So it's pretty much one or the other, even though they're different types of safeties. Letting some other guys walk, get guys that kind of fit Arthur Smith and Dean Pease, which I love those hires, by the way. Dean Pease is an excellent defensive mind. So that should work out if they're able to get the right pieces. $28 million in cap space. Let's dive into free agency in the NFL draft. Option 1, a guy like Matthew Judon would fit Dean Pease scheme there off the edge. Him and Dante Fowler Jr., that's a pretty good duo. I don't think Judon's going to be as expensive as people kind of been talking about. He's not an elite pass rusher. I think solid in the scheme. And then getting a free safety, a playmaker safety in the back end, a guy like Anthony Harris. Another one that I don't think he's going to be as expensive as people have been talking about. He had a little bit off year, but in 2019 he had a ridiculous season. I don't think he's going to be super expensive. I think Jamal Williams is a really good fit. I think he's a sleeper running back free agent. I think he's a really good fit in Arthur Smith's scheme. Tough runner, could take the load inside the tackles. Could run outside as well, can catch the ball, kind of got better, can block in the backfield as well. I think they'll like him. And another one that shouldn't be too expensive. I guess these three add up. Then you go to the draft. What if Penei Sewell's there? Sounds like a possibility. I think you take him, and he probably starts at guard right away, and I think he'd be a Pro Bowl guard. Your offensive line is starting to look pretty damn complete with Jake Matthews, and then Penei Sewell at guard, and then you have Hennessy, Lindstrom, and McGarry. That's looking pretty damn good there. So Trade back is definitely an option too. I didn't really do any trade backs throughout the draft in these rebuilds. We can talk about that in the future. I think a trade back is definitely has potential there. Ali McNeil is going to be, people are going to be going after him in the second round to be their nose tackle. And I think pairing him with Grady Jarrett, next to him, be ideal. Definitely boost stopping the run there. And I think they could use a true slot receiver and a guy like Amari Rodgers. I think, that really benefit from having a solid one, slot receiver in Arthur Smith's scheme. So I know they got guys that can, move in and out of the slot, but having a guy that, a true slot receiver there, definitely could help. So I think this would really boost both sides of the ball here. Another option, looking for that edge rusher still. Hassan Reddick, I think, would be a pretty good fit. Sound like he may not be back with the Cardinals now. So I think that'd be a pretty good fit. He's good rushing off the edge. You could actually kind of stunt him, almost blitz him inside as well. Maybe fill in that guard in free agency, a guy like Lane Taylor from the Packers. Fit the last piece of the puzzle to the offensive line, looking pretty good. And then maybe a familiar face from Dean Pease here, a solid nose tackle from the Tennessee Titans, and Daquan Jones. It could help right next to Grady Jarrett. He won't be overly expensive. Your money would kind of be spent with Reddick and Taylor there. So that fit made sense. And then going that quarterback route, again, they could trade back, but going that quarterback route, kind of back and forth on Justin Fields, Trey Lance. You can argue both on why they're tremendous fits in Arthur Smith's scheme. Trey Lance more for the design runs. So Arthur Smith started to add a little more of the, read options, bootleg and Tannehill take off. He started to implement more of those in there. So Trey Lance would make a little more sense because he's more familiar with the actual design runs. Not that Fields isn't. And then keep in mind, Fields could actually run pretty well. But I think that offense is made up, in terms of the passing game, is made up of just make the simple throws. Just get the job done, make the simple throws, and we'll open up the home run ball. And can you throw the home run ball? And both Fields and Lance can throw that home run ball. But looking at the play action pass, the bootleg, throw the ball, just hitting that first read, in stride, making sure you hit that throw. It's not the hardest throw to hit. I think Fields is a little better than that than Trey Lance, 10, 15 yards downfield, sometimes 5. So that made a little more sense to me. You're picking 4. When are the Falcons picking 4? When are they going to pick 4 again? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I think this team will be much better than picking 4 this year. So when do you have the opportunity to get a legit quarterback in the draft? You're really not, so when a couple years from now, when Matt Ryan's done, you're like, well, we need a quarterback. There's rare that they become free agents. We got to somehow get one in the draft, and we're not picking 4. So here is your opportunity. So I would like that. A couple different directions they can go. I love me some Javonte Williams. I think the best pure runner in this class, a very strong runner, toughest to tackle in this class. I think he's got upside catching the ball. I think the other guys have more production catching the ball. I think it's a matter of getting him the ball a little more. I think they'll like him a lot. Second round would be a good pick. And Paris Ford could kind of fill in next to Keanu Neal at safety, a playmaker in the back end, former cornerback. So I think they'll like him there. I really like Trey Sermon for them, too, if they want to go him in the third, or maybe he drops the 4th round, pair him with Justin Fields, perhaps. I also think that's a pretty good fit. I mean, Najee Harris is a great fit as well. I really like Javonte Williams for them. Jamal Williams in one scenario, Javonte for the other. I like those a lot. So the Falcons, they got some work to do, got to clear some space, but, if they do that, they have the opportunity to be a pretty damn scary team here. But what they do with the quarterback situation is going to be interesting, Do they keep the future, near future in mind here? Do they, trade back's an option? I think they kind of hinted at that. So when you don't trade back for a quarterback, it just doesn't happen. There's a reason for it. So I don't think they're trading back for a quarterback. Maybe to finish the offensive line, maybe to an edge rusher, someone like that. So we'll see what they do. Definitely an intriguing team, but that'll do it for the Falcons rebuild. We did every single NFL team, all 32 teams up. There's a playlist in the comments, all 32 teams up and ready for you to watch. We got plenty of NFL offseason content already on the channel, loads of it, but a lot more to come. We're getting closer to an insane amount of roster moves happening, and then free agency happening, and then a lot going on, and it just changes to how teams look. And then we got the NFL draft to cover that as well. So join us on Twitter. Join us right here. Subscribe, smash the like button, turn notifications on. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.